Hello, my dear friends. In this video, we want to answer the question, are traditional martial arts no longer useful and should they be replaced by MMA? In recent years, many people who are looking to learn martial arts have developed the idea that traditional martial arts like karate, taekwondo, and kung fu are essentially useless and that it's significantly better to go for MMA instead. And on the YouTube platform as well, there are a lot of films and videos being produced that basically suppress traditional martial arts and promote MMA. And that's why in this video, I want to prove to you with reasons that their perspective is wrong. So without further ado, let's get to the main point. In most of the comments, I hear and see users saying things like, for example, the sport of Taolu, which is a branch of Wushu, is basically useless, and that in the cage, they would easily lose to an MMA fighter. And this is the first mistaken view these people have. You can compare Taolu, which is a branch of Wushu, to Pumse in Taekwondo. Because you are showcasing a set of individual skills and that in itself is a performance, it's a showtime. But if you want to look at it from a fighting perspective, Wushu has another branch called Sanda, where practical techniques are actually used. And nowadays we see that many Sanda practitioners fight in the cage and come out successful as well. This comparison is wrong in the sense that, for example, you might say that a shooter can easily defeat an MMA fighter without even getting close to him. So why should we include MMA in our future sports plans? I could just go and learn shooting. Here, there isn't any logical perspective towards this sport or that sport at all. Or it's like saying that a skilled chess player has no chance of winning against a skilled football player in a football match, and the reverse is also true. A skilled football player can't play against a skilled chess player on the chessboard. So please, if you want to compare one sport with another, consider the entire structure of that sport first, and then make your comparison. All these stories started with Bruce Lee's movies. A Chinese man who, using Chinese techniques, goes to fight the Japanese and defeats karate. The style of strikes was simple, but the techniques were practical, and the camera would show all the techniques from a wide shot. But in more modern martial arts movies, this doesn't happen. The camera is constantly switching from one character to another, and you don't actually see the martial arts techniques. You see a punch being thrown at the opponent, but the camera quickly switches away. But if we compare this fighting style to the John Wick movies, it's different. In the John Wick movies, the techniques are shown in full. Grappling the opponent, locking them, taking them down, and shooting. The camera shows all the techniques from a simple wide shot. And I want to make this claim right here. There is no such thing as a fighting style called Kung Fu. If you say in China that you know Kung Fu, the question they'll ask you is, which Kung Fu? Calligraphy, painting, or examples like these. The word Kung Fu literally means being skilled at something. This can be anything. Medicine, martial arts, calligraphy, painting, and various other related disciplines and activities. And the term Shaolin Kung Fu means that I am specialized in the techniques and strikes of the Shaolin style. To give you a simpler example, it's like saying, I am a doctor and my specialty, my Kung Fu, is neurology. The word Kung Fu became known worldwide through Bruce Lee's movies, and in the film industry, any word or movie that sells well and has money involved gets a reaction from the industry. After that, many movies centered around Kung Fu fighting were made, and this created the idea in people's minds that Kung Fu is a separate style of fighting. This in turn led to the production of many martial arts films focused on Kung Fu. But with the arrival of The Matrix, the story changed. The Matrix was a turning point in modern action martial arts films and created a unique style of martial arts movies. And all these events and martial arts films led to the creation of martial arts clubs. Why? Because people were willing to pay money to learn martial arts skills. And even in the early days, many people from all over the world would travel to China and find someone to teach them a specific style of fighting. And even when the Chinese realized this trend, any Chinese person, even those who didn't actually know Kung Fu or any specific fighting style, would find a park, record themselves doing some moves with a camera, copy it onto a CD, and sell it all over the world to make money. Later, it became clear that the training taught and learned from these CDs was completely wrong, and eventually the International Wushu Federation stepped in and released instructional videos within a proper framework and standard. And this cycle repeated so many times that the top-tier Chinese masters passed away and second and third tier masters took their place, and the delusion that I am a grandmaster and I have a high rank led some of these people to develop the illusion that their fighting style was practical and that they could defeat anyone using their own style. On the other hand, martial arts techniques have changed form over time, and now you see a defensive guard that is very open and has many vulnerabilities. In martial arts movies, you prefer to use this kind of defensive guard. Why? Because it's challenging. The hero's face is fully visible and at the same time it's appealing. If you cover the opponent's face so nothing is visible, it doesn't really make any money for your film. Let me give a simple example. We saw this technique in the movie Ip Man. To perform this technique, the practitioner needs high flexibility and strong legs. You have to be able to squat down that low, do a full squat, sit down, and then you also need to have good flexibility so it looks elegant. So in fact, you're doing a beneficial exercise. But only a fool would use this technique in a real fight, because you're putting your face right in front of your opponent's foot. That's why directors use beautiful martial arts moves in movies. People are always deceived by beauty, and on the other hand, all these movies created an illusion in the minds of Chinese masters. Of course, not all of them, just some Chinese masters. And this led them to challenge others to fights and claim to be fighters. And as a result, MMA began to confront traditional martial arts to dispel these illusions. And you can easily see that in a fight, the MMA fighter defeated the Tai Chi master with years of experience. Of course, the outcome of this match was obvious from the start. Just look at the muscle mass and strength of both sides. The MMA master has trained in the gym, but the Tai Chi master has only practiced techniques on his own compliant students in the gym, basically just hitting his own students without getting any real feedback from them. And if I want to sum up what I've said, engage in exercise for your own personal health and overall well-being. And feel free to participate in any martial art or non-martial sport that you genuinely enjoy and find fulfilling. It doesn't matter what sport it is, and don't chase after whether it's practical or not, because all of this happens for just one reason: money. And you shouldn't let yourself be played for money. Take advantage of a good opportunity. Do a good sport and keep your body healthy. Thank you for watching the video up to this point. Until the next video, I wish you health and happiness.